Today is March 29th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we are continuing our journey through Chapter 6 into action. We'll read page 75. Out of the 12 and 12, we are still on Step 11. We'll read page 98. And of course, we'll read a 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope you're all doing well this beautiful sunny morning, my friends. Life is good over here. We've been given another set of 24 hours. That's always a beautiful thing. And it's starting to warm up. It's starting to feel like spring. Things are coming back to life. And my aunt, she's a huge Phillies fan. She's all excited about baseball season starting up and everything. For me, I'm super excited because the playoffs for hockey are starting. Speaking of which, good Lord, I've discovered this app called Flow Hockey. So for you hockey nuts out there, it has like pretty much any minor league team that you could ever want to follow on there, and even some college teams as well. So I've got the PWHL I could follow, the NHL, and now pretty much any other league. So I'm driving my wife nuts watching all this hockey every night. So sometimes I have to go to another room. But anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading, we spent a lot of time talking about how we should try our best not to delay in doing our fifth step. And, choosing the right person to do it. So we are going to build on that idea on page 75. When we decide who is to hear our story, we waste no time. We have written an inventory and we are prepared for a long talk. We explain to our partner what we are about to do and why we have to do it. He should realize that we are engaged upon a life and death errand. Most people approached in this way will be glad to help. They will be honored by our confidence. We pocket our pride and go to it, illuminating every twist of character, every dark cranny of our past. Once we've taken this step, withholding nothing, we're delighted. We can look the world in the eye. We can be alone at perfect peace and ease. Our fears fall from us. We begin to feel the nearness of our Creator. We may have had certain spiritual beliefs, but now we begin to have a spiritual experience. The feeling that the drink problem has disappeared will often come strongly. We feel that we are on the broad highway, walking hand in hand with the spirit of the universe. Returning home, we find a place where we can be quiet for an hour, carefully reviewing what we have done. We thank God from the bottom of our heart that we know Him better. Taking this book down from our shelf, we turn to the page which contains the 12 steps. Carefully reading the first 5 proposals, we ask if we have omitted anything. For we are building an arch through which we shall walk a free man at last. Is our work solid so far? Are the stones properly in place? Have we skimped on the cement put into the foundation? Have we tried to make mortar without sand? Out of the 12 and 12, we're on step 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Page 98. There's a direct linkage among self-examination, meditation, and prayer. Taken separately, these practices can bring much relief and benefit. But when they are logically related and interwoven, the result is an unshakable foundation for life. Now and then, we may be granted a glimpse of that ultimate reality which is God's kingdom, and we will be comforted and assured that our own destiny in that realm will be secure for so long as we try, however faultingly, to find and do the will of our Creator. As we have seen, self-searching is the means by which we bring new vision, action, and grace to bear upon the dark and negative side of our natures. It is a step in the development of that kind of humility that makes it possible for us to receive God's help. Yet it is only a step. We will want to go further. We will want the good that is in us all, even the worst of us, to flower and to grow. Most certainly we shall need bracing air and an abundance of food. But first of all, we shall want sunlight. Nothing much can grow in the dark. Meditation is our step into the sun. How then shall we meditate? The actual experience of meditation and prayer across the centuries is, of course, immense. The world's libraries and places of worship are a treasure trove for all seekers. It is to be hoped that every AA who has a religious connection which emphasizes meditation will return to the practice of that devotion as never before. But what about the rest of us who, less fortunate, don't even know how to begin? "24 hours a day, March 29th. AA thought for the day. Before I met AA, I was very dishonest. I lied to my spouse constantly about where I'd been and what I'd been doing. I took time off from my work and pretended that I'd been sick or gave some other dishonest excuse. I was dishonest with myself as well as other people. I would never face myself as I really was or admit when I was wrong. I pretended to myself that I was as good as the next person, although I suspected I wasn't. Am I now really honest? Meditation for the day. I must live in the world and yet live apart with God. I can go forth from my secret times of communion with God to the work of the world. To get the spiritual strength that I need, my inner life must be lived apart from the world. I must wear the world as a loose garment. Nothing in the world should seriously upset me, as long as my inner life is lived with God. All successful living arises from this inner life. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may live my inner life with God. I pray that nothing shall invade or destroy that secret place of peace. Daily Reflection, March 29th. Trusted servants. They are servants. Theirs is the sometimes thankless privilege of doing the group's chores. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 134. In Zorba the Greek, Nikos K, for anonymity's sake, not because I can't say it, describes an encounter between his principal character and the old man busily at work planting a tree. "What is it you're doing?" Zorba asks. The old man replies, "You can see very well what I'm doing, my son. I'm planting a tree." "But why plant a tree?" Zorba asks, "if you won't be able to see it bear fruit?" And the old man answers, "I, my son, live as though I were never going to die." The response brings a faint smile to Zorba's lips, and, as he walks away, he exclaims with a note of irony, "How strange. I live as though I were going to die tomorrow." As a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, I have found that the third legacy is a fertile soil in which to plant a tree of my sobriety. The fruits I harvest are wonderful. Peace, security, understanding, and 24 hours of eternal fulfillment. And with the soundness of mind to listen to the voice of my conscience, when, in silence, it gently speaks to me saying, "You must let go in service. There are others who must plant and harvest." All right, my friends, beautiful reading today. My goodness. Never heard that story by Zorba the Greek, too. That's great stuff. So going back to page 75 of the Big Book, talking about step 5, right? So yesterday we spent a lot of time on 74 talking about choosing the right person and trying not to delay this step as best as possible. That's what's worked for these first 100 who helped put this book together. And then on step 5, they give some more suggestions about how we can carry out this step once we found the person. I love this. We explain to our partner that we're about to do what we're about to do and why we have to do it. He should realize that we are engaged upon a life and death errand, which that sounds dramatic, but think about the throes of our alcoholism. That's not an exaggeration at all. This can be life and death. Oftentimes it is life and death for us. Most people approached in this way will be glad to help. They'll be honored by our confidence. I've seen that to be true. The few people that I've talked to, and I can think of at least 3, my unofficial sponsor, my sponsor, and a trusted friend who's maybe not an alcoholic, but he's somebody I trust, somebody I can talk to that has similar struggles and has confided in me as well. But anyway, next paragraph, I love this. We pocket our pride and go to it. I know I had to pocket my pride, and for me, and I've heard refuting opinions on this, but for me, I had to be completely honest. I had to tell the 100%, the things I was not proud of, and not just kind of dress it up or paint in broad strokes. I had to get down to the specifics of some of the things I'd done, the resentments I had, mainly towards me, but there were a few others. And it says here, illuminating every twist of character, every dark cranny of the past. That's scary, especially the first time it seems scary. But I have lived and experienced what they're about to say. Here it is. Once we've taken this step, so once we admit this to God, to ourselves, and to another human being, withholding nothing, there it is again, we're delighted. We can look the world in the eye. I don't know about you, but that image right there, once again, before the steps and in the throes of my alcoholism, I had so much fear, shame, and guilt that I was living with, carrying around, right? And I almost walked with a hunch with all the stuff that I was carrying with me. And my head was always down. But I've experienced that, like when I did these steps and I'm trying to live a life of integrity, I can look others in the eye and not be so bashful, not be afraid of what they think of me. I can look the world in the eye and realize I'm no better or worse than anybody else. I'm not perfect, but I'm perfectly human. And then the next line, we can be alone at perfect peace and ease. I think there's a difference between isolation and being alone with yourself. When I was drinking, I was in isolation. I was lonely. Now, I can be alone with myself and it recharges my batteries. And even then, in my opinion, I'm not completely alone. My higher power is with me. And I can just chat with him like I would a dear friend. I love this. Our fears fall from us. Sounds extravagant. Sounds a little fluffy, like there's no way. But I have noticed that over time when I would do these 5th steps, especially the more I've done them, or I guess it would be a 10th step, promptly admit it. The more I do it, the less scary it becomes. And in a more general sense, I'm not as fearful when I work. I can't explain it. It's definitely been a spiritual awakening for me. This is something that's happened over time. But I love this. We begin to feel the nearness of our Creator. Oh, you betcha I feel that. We may have had certain spiritual beliefs, but now we begin to have a spiritual experience. That feeling that the drink problem has disappeared will often come strongly. We feel that we are on the broad highway, walking hand in hand with the spirit of the universe. I've said it a million times, but For me, the very first time I did my fifth step, that's when I felt like the program was really tangibly working in my life. My drive home, I remember looking at the sunset after my first fifth step with my unofficial sponsor. And I remember thinking about all the bags of rocks that I had let go after that exchange, which is a very different vibe than the feeling I had going to the person for my fifth step. I was all like, oh gosh, I'm scared. And what is he going to think of me and all these things? And by the time I did it, all that fear, that false evidence appearing real, it melted away. And I drove home with peace. And I remember thinking, as I was driving home, I remember this specific road I was on. I remember thinking, holy cow, this step stuff, I think it's actually working for me. I never thought I'd be able to admit these things to anybody. And I'm talking about things I wrestled with since I was a child. I was finally able to let it all go by casting light on this deep, dark secret that I had. All the guilt, the shame, the fear. It's like the light just dissolved it all. Now, was my life rainbows and sunshine after step 5? No. But I began to feel the benefits and the tangible results from these 12 steps in my heart and soul after step 5. It was a beautiful thing. I mean, I started feeling a little bit, I remember when my sponsor and we prayed the third step prayer together. And it was when the church was closed and we were having meetings outside of the church. So we had all these like chairs set up we were sitting on the ground unless we brought our own chair. But we would have meetings behind the church. But it was just my sponsor and me. And I remember we got on our knees and prayed together, and I felt something then. And then when I did my inventory and then step 5, I felt even more. It's incredible. But my friend, I have rambled on, and we're getting close to the 20-minute mark here. I better stop. But I hope you know that if you're sober today, you're a miracle. And you're giving a great gift to those around you. And if you're not sober today, you're a miracle as well. And my cat agrees. Isn't that right, Ray? That you're a miracle as well. You have great worth, and I pray that you get the help that you need today. And you don't have to do it alone. There are people dying to help you, and we've got your back. My friends, I just want to say that I love you. It's an honor to be here, and if we are given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.